let me have Marcus and yeah, yeah, come on. Only, no, only be one. It'd just be one thing. Okay, let me show you all one other thing. Okay, we were talking, class, about presidents, and Barack Obama is our president now. Who was the president of the United States during prior to Barack Obama's first term? Who was the president? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who was the president? Name any president before Barack Obama. Somebody raise your hand.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton was one.
Stop it.
You calm down.
Stop it.
You need to sit down. Leave your chair alone. Leave your chair alone.
Don't.
Owl squad. Owl squad. You the owl squad. The owl squad.
Don't touch me.
Owl
Don't
squad.
touch me.
Who?
All right, stop right there. That's right before you. Right, come in, stay right there. What I'm going to demonstrate to you is what many schools have. I haven't talked to your administration, so we really can't set that up. I know that we have and have had school student concern specialists. We've got 3 of them here. We just started this year using them and calling them the OWL Squad, okay? And it goes like this. What you saw was a young lady that was starting to get out of control. She's, leave me alone, ... I go over and I try to calm her down. I tell her what she's supposed to do. Behave yourself. I'll take care of it. Things like no, she's still going to act up. So I call the OWL Squad. Okay, the OWL Squad comes in, and what they do is back up here again. And he comes in and says one word, and that word is
Who?
who. That's why they're called the OWL Squad. It is all designed, again, around this method of communicating with students, as opposed to what I have seen before, and I actually, I tolerated it, I mean, it was accepted, rather than just come in and say who. I would come as an administrator, assistant, or principal. We would get a call, boom, please come up to room 28, there's a disturbance. We go in there, and I go to the door, I said, what's up? What's going on? Oh, Kristen here, she's acting up in front of the whole class. She's doing this, she's doing that. That's not the time. Public rules, private discipline. He comes in and says, who? The teacher says, Kristen. Okay, he comes over, and then the OWL Squad, you got 2 members, sit down there. You got 2 members of the OWL Squad, they come over, they stand perpendicular to her. Even though he was a student, he's also a member of the OWL Squad. Stand up. And I'll take over as the team leader, and he's the teacher now. He would, the leader of the OWL Squad would come forward and say, young lady, you need to come with me. You need to come with me, young lady. Now, he uses the same techniques that you use as a teacher in communication. He comes forward, eye contact, young lady, you need to come with me. Not, what were you doing? Why are you misbehaving? If you calm down, I'll leave you here. If you apologize, no. No. And that's what I tell them. Don't call for that OWL Squad until you've exhausted your methods here. Or if it becomes a severe, overt defiance. The teacher has tried to calm the situation. It doesn't work. So she either says,
Okay.
okay, and she says that, then I said, come with me. And she goes. Or she says,
No.
young lady. you need to
No,
come.
I'm not.
Would you please help her? You're not going to. These two people would be previously trained in, what do they call it, CPI? Yeah. Corrective restraint, methods of restraining a student. Okay, they know the kind of way to touch and hold without causing injury, without being accused of anything. And they would say, I would say, you need to come. And I would say, take hold. And if she says, no, jump up, jump up. Jump up.
No.
Jump up. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
I'd say, thank you very much, leave. Go ahead, you all back up. I would grab my radio and I would say, Officer Edwards, Jason Edwards is our school resource officer. Officer Edwards, come to room 28, we have a disturbance. And then you say, oh no, please, I'll sit down here.
No, I'll sit down.
I know you will, but that's unfortunate because we had to call him and we're not going back. You can come with me down to room 120. I would like for you to come with me to room 120. Okay. That happens usually. Rarely do we have to have Jason Edwards come up to a classroom and physically remove the student. We get to the point where a student will defy the Al Squad and say, go ahead, touch me, I'll get my lawyer there. Officer Edwards, come on up. And usually before the next word, okay, I'm going. And we don't have to say 120, that's the main, this one I'll say, I'm going to 120, I know where to go, leave me alone. We follow them out, okay? That is the way that when a parent has told me, you got that excellent report card, but you got terrible behavior at the school. You don't know. And my response, once again, was, ma'am, I would say to you, I'm not going to argue, I would say to you that no school can maintain 4 years of academic excellence without excellent behavior by the students overall. Okay? So that's why, too, when we have a situation like that, and we're an urban high school, 90% graduation rate, top 10 in the state of any non-magnet school, we still have students that they're teenagers. They're modern teenagers, and they probably, students like that, 99% of them bring some kind of baggage from the house, from the community, and they're upset. So usually through the kind of communication we use in the classroom, we use as administrators. I'll give you a real life example. Yesterday, two girls decided that whatever happened at the club on Saturday night did not sit well with them. They were out in the community, they're at the club, legal teen club, whatever, and something happened, I don't know, between boys, boyfriends, somebody in the community, and they were arguing with each other. First thing Monday morning, one of the girls said, yeah, I'll do that. She comes up, walks by the girl, gets a little breakfast, walks by the girl, pulls her hair. Oh boy, bring it on. So they start scuffling. We're able to break them up, got teachers on duty right away, we break them up. We get them down to 120, call the parents. Period of time, the parents have yet to arrive, got them in the 120 office. I'm talking to the teacher up front here, so about an hour later, parents finally get there, and I know that one of the assistant principals is carrying on this conversation. All of a sudden, Miss Stephanie Spann, who's one of our administrators, I got my radio sitting on my desk, and I hear in her calm, even-toned, professional voice, Officer Edwards, I need you in 120. While that conversation, when that transmission is going on in the background, go ahead, call the officer. I don't care. I ain't listening to nothing. Officer Edwards, did you get my transmission? I'll be right there, Miss Spann. Well, it was the young lady in the background, and Miss Spann had said, I understand. You said she pulled your hair. I understand. We've got a video of all this. Understand, though, that you were fighting. We don't allow fighting. That's severe clause. You're 17 years of age. When we look at this, you may have to be taken into custody. Okay? Young lady, calm down. I told you to calm down. I told you to calm down. We can't have this in the office. When she continued, I asked her later on, I said, who all was in there? Did you have all that? Just that girl. She's raising Cain. And I told Stephanie, I said, Dad, I wish I'd had a recording of it. I said, you sound like the phone lady. Royce Clayton, that number has been changed. Please make a note of it. I mean, she sounded just like that. I said, I need you in 120. And he was the same way. I'll be right there. Yes, ma'am, I'll be right there. Boom. That's the kind of communication needs to take place. And so when we've had those situations, and he came down there, and before he got in there, what do you think that young lady did? What's wrong? I'm not saying a thing. I'm not saying a thing. Every time I say something, they've got to call the police. That's what she said. I'm just going to wait for my mother. My mother will speak for me. So, that's the way an OWL squad in security, so to speak, works in school. But once again, that cannot happen in isolation. Okay, the OWL squad reacting, the school resource officer reacting, they're all trained for that, but it doesn't happen in isolation. It takes place where, as my buddy says, the rubber meets the road. That's you as teachers. That's you as teachers. Practicing that kind of informational, non-confrontational language that you use, which is, as we saw on a previous slide, is how we view children. Sometimes I'll say it around here, you children, I don't know. I'm 18 years old, I ain't a child anymore. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, young man. But they're youngsters, they're children. They are developing adults that are not only worthy of, they need our guidance on how to grow and mature. So we use that non-confrontational instructional language. So how many reasons are there for a referral? Don't answer that question. If I asked you beforehand, how many reasons were there for a referral? I heard some, how many raindrops come out of the sky? No, that's not the right answer. Even without this management system. Usually, if I had 10 rules, then I would have, as a teacher, I would say, well, there's 10 reasons. One of them, no fighting. Okay, that's one reason. No cheating. There's a reason. Late for class. There's a reason. So I'd have as many rules as there were. That would be how many different types of... I remember a discipline referral we did at my first year as assistant principal. The only reason we had it printed up this way is because the principal said, yeah, do this. Got a committee together, we're going to put together that discipline referral that's easier, and it was needed, easier for teachers to navigate through and understand. And they didn't have to check so many boxes and write up some, well, it's nice and easy to get it to you assistant principals. So I had the committee, the teacher committee. And it made my eyes spin, the offenses they had down there, and the consequences. And it was like pulling hen's teeth to get them to pare it down to, I don't remember, it seemed like 15 different things a kid could do wrong. It had to be at least that, because I remember saying, wow, 15, my gosh, that's 15 rules that have been broken. That's right. You got 15? I'd ask the teacher, you got, Mr. Marston, you got 15 rules? Yeah. And then Mr. Bethke said, 15, I got 22. Actually, I got 22 rules in my class. I remember looking and saying, I don't want to be sacrilegious, but y'all, there's only 10 commandments. The good Lord said there were only 10 rules. Boil it down. Come on. So, how many reasons are there now for a referral? Look at this. Wait a minute, let's go back. Wait a minute. Here are the consequences. Here are the consequences. Warning, you get a referral for that? Where does that go? Warning goes in the accountability book, right? Whoop. See, this is why I'm having trouble. This is why I'm having trouble with my Apple computer now.
No, the other way. The back one. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You're right. We got, that goes in accountability book. Last out. Yeah. All of those, and value time, you're still in control. He's done that 3 times this week. You're going to number 4, buddy. Has he gone to the assistant principal's office yet? No. Number 4, all of those in parental involvement. I got the parents down here. That's not a referral. I arranged that. I called and said, Miss Bethke, Daniel's really been acting up in class. Well, let me back up. Very wrong. I learned this from another friend of mine. Miss Becky, this is Bob Bonestang, your son's teacher. Yes, I know. I'm going to tell you, I really enjoy having Daniel in class. And you saw his last report card, he's done very well. But as of late, the past 2 weeks, he's just been very fractious in the classroom. I'm trying to redirect him, and he doesn't seem to be taking my direction. I wondered if you could come down. It really would be important for you to come down for a conference. And what's the best time for you? Back up. Using that positive conversation, I don't care. As a teacher, practices, don't try. Practices. If you have to make those parent calls, well, what do you mean you have to? We used to do this in the elementary school. I want to see your parent log. Contact the parent once a week or once every 6 weeks, whatever it may be. Contact all the parents. You only got 20 kids in your classroom. How many first graders you got? 10. Wow. So practice that positive communication you're doing with, same thing you're doing with the students. No matter how fractious he may be. A friend of mine that I started teaching with, coaching with, is now assistant principal in Gastonia, North Carolina. Never thought he'd be in elementary school, just like I never thought I'd be an elementary principal. But he is assistant principal, and he loves it. Loves it. Was a PE teacher, basketball coach, Mr. Jock. He loves the elementary kids, and he schools ingrains that into his faculty. Always say something good about the kid, whatever it may be. I enjoy him. I've always liked having him in class, whatever, something like that. So you've done that. You come for the parent conference. It's a very good conference. 2 days later, Daniel's right back at it. What happens then? Administrative referral. Because he's disrupting the class, he's taking away your time from teaching, he's taking away students' time from learning. That's the first reason. What's the second reason?
Severe clause.
Severe clause. That's it. Severe clause. That can be fighting, vandalism, overt defiance, stopping class from functioning. Okay? So there's two. When you boil it all down, there's two. Now, Ms. Holland can probably testify to this. I would like to say that's the way it's been at James Allen Charter High School this year. This is our first year with the program. Old habits die hard. And I found myself as a principal a couple times. We do tardy sweep in the morning, and some days, oh man, first thing in the morning is always the high volume time. And I get a kid, and I've done it. I had to stop myself. Carlos, even before I hit this thing, I know this is going to be like your 9th referral. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's going to be at least your 9th referral. I'll bet you money on that. Dang, how many times are you going to get scammed? I stopped. Ooh. I said, wait a minute, Carlos. I actually done this. What is wrong with you? And there's a line of people. There's a line of his friends and colleagues out there. He's 18 years of age, and you're louding him out in front of all his friends for being tardy. And you argued with him. I was a principal. I said, God, old habits die hard. And because guess what? I had a conversation with Carlos 2 days ago. Carlos, we're calling you mother. Okay? And he does not want that to happen. Because as a friend of mine used to say, Carlos's mama going to come down here and dance on his liver. Okay? He's 18 years of age. He's going to college. He's a man. You don't want mom to come down. I said, come on. But that day, I said, Carlos, come here. Let me tell you privately, just stepped inside the book room there. It also serves as a book room. Doors open. I said, Carlos, I'm going to give you a pass to class. And you come back during your lunch, during first lunch. You got first lunch. How do you know? I know. Okay, I know. You got first lunch. Come to see me and we'll talk about it. I had to undo that. So old habits die hard. I would like to say that when we had the owl squad, I'd come up and say, "Who?" He said, "Carol." "Carol." "I didn't do it." "Carol, Carol, you need to come with me." "Okay. Yes, sir. I tell you, I didn't do anything." "I understand. So we go out to class. We go down. All I was doing was talking. "Yeah, but you had to be talking a bunch." "Yeah, I was talking a bunch, but she just doesn't like me." I go back up to the teacher at some point at the end. I say, "You stay here with." "You know how many times I told her to stop talking?" "No, I don't know." Teacher too. Good teacher too. Very good teacher. Old habits die hard. We just sit down and talk to the teacher and confer with her and say, "You got to start using this. It's difficult. You got to start using this language. I understand. Use the accountability book and things will get better." Okay? So, we've done the owl squad. As I go through this next part, let's see. What did I do wrong?
It automatically, the last one.
How many reasons are there for referral? Was that the last one? That must be the last one. Oh, no, the discipline card. This is something else. We won't, the assistant principals use this. This is when a student goes on a discipline card. That's what a discipline card looks like. There's what the discipline card looks like. Questions or comments? Questions or comments?
I have a,
Yes.
phone call. Is it, 'cause I sent home a daily report. I sent home a homework daily report. So I can
Do you
write-
really? I remember,
Yeah, yeah. well,
How's that work?
It works fine because it's, I can write comments.
Mhm.
And the parents can also write comments and we communicate back and forth daily.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so is that, would that take the place of, and sometimes they call or tell me to call, would that take the place of a phone call? I'm
No.
comfortable with that, whether you would.
Well, if you work it into your consequence scheme and it's approved by your administrator, yes. Yes. You never want to have a parent come to you and say, "I wish I knew about this." "Well, didn't I write that on?"
But they
Yeah,
have to sign,
Yeah,
today.
you signed, but that was last week you were having trouble. Now you have it again? So you want to make certain that's current. Make certain that form of communication is current. Every night they do it?
Yeah, because it's like I have their homework list on it. It's
So
daily
if a
homework.
student has not been reaching their potential or behaving to their potential, you put that on their homework card? Or see me for a conference or something like that?
I could, or they say call me, or I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah,
As long as that communication is
right,
correct.
because they just write comment, call me,
Mhm.
or, I need to call you.
Y'all ever call parents at that day, at that time, right after school? Communication these days is phenomenal. Email, just send me an email. That's what some of my parents, send me an email. "Yeah, but you work over," send me an email. I'll be there. They are.
Now, the kid, the student carries the card around. Now, how, for example, because we kind of have something similar to that where it's on clipboard.
Right.
All right, the kid, let's say it's my homeroom and that's the first period of class.
Right.
Now, by the time the kid gets to, let's say, Miss Simmons, which is, let's say after lunch,
Uh-huh.
does Miss Simmons already know to expect the card from the kid?
No, she may not. The first day,
Okay.
she may not. You usually use that discipline card for a 5-day period, but the first day she doesn't know. She doesn't know. How is she gonna find out?
Because that's the issue that we have. The kid would get it, but then, because it's in my homeroom, I know, and then the kid will go 3-4 days
It may-
before it
what grade level are we
actually-
talking about?
6 through 8, before it eventually makes it to.
one of the common, not common, one of the hot topics you will start hearing, we're hearing more and more of, and a lot of it's generated from teachers, this question: when does the responsibility of the learner, of the learning, become the learner's? When does the responsibility for learning become the learner's? I'm teaching, they're not learning. It's fine, it's a fine line there, come on now. You gotta break it down. Maybe they don't understand differential calculus the way you're teaching it. You gotta break it down in different methodology. I know that for me, you put me in high school in a history class, an English class, religion class, world geography, even science. Not the mathematical, biology, my God, human physiology, I was on fire. Math, algebra 1, good. Geometry, anything that was not concrete operational was difficult for me all the way into college. When I had to take calculus in college, I said, I ain't gonna do it. I'm dropping out of the University of South Carolina. I want to go here all my life, but I ain't gonna do it. It was tough. But if it had not been for Jane begins with M. Gosh, how could I forget her name? I call her name. 11th and 12th grade taught me what we call trigonometry, which was algebra 2, and then pre-calculus. Wow. She's the one that got me through that. Okay, so the responsibility for the learning was mine, but let me tell you, if she was teaching it to me. 6th grade, 7th grade, what we do here in high school is the responsibility of the discipline card taking the teachers is the student. It's on the learner. We're teaching you responsibility. You're old enough. I am not going to go talk to your teacher because guess what? The assistant principal is issuing it. They got to give it back to the assistant principal at the end of the day. I forgot, or my ride was going to leave me, or I had to get to football practice. Assistant principal's got that long. Uh-oh. I didn't get Marcus's discipline card this afternoon. First thing, Tuesday morning. Marcus, come see me. What happened? I guess we got to put you on it an extra day. It's your responsibility. Now, you as a staff have to decide if 6th graders, 7th graders, if that's what you would expect of them. And then if that's the case, if you would expect them to communicate that to each one of their teachers, they have to know that. Assistant principals have to be able to communicate it to them in a firm, fair, and consistent way. Not a threatening way. You don't do this, I'm going to hang you up by your thumbs. Boy, I mean business. You can mean business without being mean. Okay? Now, before another question. The young man who you had to stand up and still stand. Have we done anything today that would lead you to some solutions with that kind of behavior?
Well, yes it would, but actually I didn't say much to him yesterday except he came in second period and I said, okay, this is what we're doing. Get out your textbook, turn to page so and so. He took his arms out of his sleeve and stuck them so that the sleeve was hanging and his arms were inside. And he put that down. I said, get out your textbook. He never said anything, so there was a bag on the floor. The girls, they had left somewhere. One of them left it. I said, okay, if you don't have a book, there's a Darius book right there. Take it out and use it. He still didn't want to do it, so I said, okay, you're not going to sleep in my class today. They're going to do the work or you're staying back. Well, send me to the office so I can go to sleep. I'm like, no.
Proactive, assertive teacher. John, you need to get your book out. Get your head up. I can't let you sleep in this classroom. I will not let you sleep. Send me to the office. I understand. No good deal. I understand. Doesn't get his head up. John, I told you to get your head up. Get your book out. You need to start working. You said you're going to sleep in this class. There might be something that's troubling you. We can talk about this the last 5 minutes of the class. But you've got to work. If he continues, it might be something really serious with him. There might be something he's bringing from home, unless this is a consistent behavior.
Staying up too late playing video games.
Staying up too late playing video games. Well, then that's what you do. Talk about it. At the end of the day, you've got to get your head up. Now, You go back here. Would that come under a severe clause, is the
No.
question? It wouldn't. If it does, then you call your OWL squad or whatever team you've got. If they're persistently disruptive in the class, yeah. Other questions? Other questions? Questions, Ms. Holland? Just any comments, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Any comments from you as a practitioner in a setting that is one of the most challenging that we have to try to get kids, because they're in that room all day long, they get supervised bathroom breaks, they eat their lunch in there. We go get their lunch for them. And guess what? Miss Holland started this year with our permission. I was waiting for somebody to say this. I didn't want to force it on them, but I was about to. Man, school lunch is not bad here. They get, they'll have choices of pizza and wings and chicken, and then they got spaghetti one day. And oh man, Miss Rose makes a baked chicken, barbecue baked chicken. It's out of this world. She doesn't like it because they don't let her use white rice. She got to use brown rice. And bread has got to be wheat bread. Here, have it roll over. Miss Rose, she's an old time country cook, and she does it right, but she still makes it good. So we used to have them come down here. It was like they were at the Hilton or something. Special. I'd see the people. Oh, this one's got this. You know, what do they get now? What's their lunch?
Turkey sandwich, fruit, and milk orange juice.
That is it. Turkey sandwich meets the minimum daily requirements provided by a school lunch. It's not bread and water. We're not starving them. They get the turkey sandwich. I don't like turkey. And they know that beforehand. We've had kids. Marcus, you're at level 4 now. You're at level 4. Next one is level 5. It might end up anxiety, you understand. Marcus, we more than once Marcus said, shoot, man, I want that turkey sandwich.
What kind of work you want me to do?
They don't want a turkey sandwich. Yeah, you want a turkey sandwich. Anyway, so from your perspective, and this is your first year here, how has, give me a testimony there, good, bad, and different?
It's been an interesting progression this year. I've kind of got, obviously we're all new at this, and at the beginning I think that there were a lot of us who were kind of shaky on what to do and being fair and consistent across the board, but as the year progressed and now we're into May, it's just kind of become a routine for people, and you can definitely see a change in kids. They understand the expectations, they know what's coming, and so that it's going to prevent them from acting out in class. And I did some research on the data to see if what we were doing is really working compared to last year, and comparing that to this year. And really, honestly, the amount of referrals for classroom disruptions, disrespect to staff, drastically was reduced percentage-wise. So, of course, now you've got the tardies, which is a problem, and phone violations. Those are our 2 biggest referrals right now. So it's definitely an improvement. It's a different change, I mean, of course, you have to change with the times too, and with the kids, and that's even hard for me. Is still 10 years ago in high school, it's totally different now. So, but it works. It works. It really does.
What do you do for phone violations? Do you take the phones?
We take their phones if they give them to us. If they give them to us, then we take them down to 120, and then they have a Saturday school detention, 8 to 10, and then on Monday, their parent can come and pick up their phone. If they don't, then a new rule that we started just recently is that they refuse to give their phones to us, then they are out of school suspended for 3 days. So, and the more referrals they get, and that's what kids don't understand. Well, just, give me OSS, I don't care, and I have to tell them, the more referrals you get, the closer you are to being expelled from school, going up in front of the disciplinary board. So that's kind of like a, I wanna be in school, I wanna be with my friends here, so, those are our two big ones, so. And of course, you have to kinda change with it, cause I personally think now we need to do something different about tardies, cause kids don't care about the tardies, they don't care about being late to class, they don't care about having a detention, or going to
It's
high
the end of the year, so
Right.
we're getting to that
Mhm.
point. So
But even since January, we could see a total, rise in tardies, and a lot of kids don't care about it. And the Saturday school, if they skip Saturday school, then they'll be with me one day that following week, and they know they already have to come to school, so they might as well just have ice instead of giving up their Saturday. So you got to kind of adjust and figure out what works, and based on your kids too. So I'm recommending that we kind of review the whole tardy Saturday school thing.
well,
too,
at one
so.
school that I know they have started school, if you miss one, then you have two.
They're waiting. Miss Williams just called. I told her it was my fault. Okay, we're wrapping up anyway. I told her we're wrapping up.
No, I'm sorry. You're
No, we're
asking.
saying, was saying that not one school where they have started school, if you get one and you miss that one, then you have two.
Mhm.
And if you miss two, then you're automatically suspended.
Yeah. I mean, it's just things you gotta look at. Good ideas. So.
One of the things that was really powerful about the data that Carrie analyzed and then presented in January to the staff, and Dr. Glanton was at
Mhm.
that.
Yes, sir.
He came and visited us. That's the other great thing about Dr. Glanton and his group. A lot of guys come in, a lot of women come in, and they give you one day powerful workshops, powerful. That's it. I mean, they leave you with a lot of good stuff, and you try practicing. You think you're doing it right, but you never see them again. He came in service administrators, training staff. Came back 2 days follow-up in October and 2 days follow-up in February. Visiting classrooms, giving people feedback. It was wonderful. And what was powerful about the data was Ms. Holland was analyzing this data totally objectively, because, as she said, she gave the data that she had this year, that we had. Compared to last year's data, she wasn't even on the staff. She wasn't in the building, so she could look at it totally objectively. It was very powerful. We appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here today, and wish you well.